Okay, and this is the first of 3 grossly falsified character assassinations that were presented about myself, Mr. OPTIMA Stevenson, from West Mercia Homes Limited / OPTIMA Community Association. The first of 3 grossly falsified character assassinations to do with a verbal discourse that I had with West Mercia Homes Limited / OPTIMA Community Association about several issues in my area, most notably 3 racial issues. Most significantly, one of the issues was when a 67-year-old Anglo-Irish white man stabbed a 16-year-old black kid in his head on public transport. Subsequently, that child had to have 15 or 16 stitches in his head, I think it was, and it was reported on local media. This body, West Mercia Homes Limited / OPTIMA Community Association, thought that it would be a good idea to put an attachment of earnings order on my paycheck for £56, a relatively small amount of money. But the small amount of money wasn't the issue, it was the way that they went about it, in spite of the fact that this small issue of that £56 has been going on since 2013. So for them to sort of go about things the crafty route and do what they did without my permission, without any notification, sort of riled me up, especially considering the racial issues that have been going on in this area because of one of their tenants and their negligence towards that. Again, if you want to see what I'm talking about, all you have to do is refer to videos on this very channel about that. Names have been excluded from this for legal reasons, but again, if you want to find out the names of the parties involved, all you have to do is refer to several other videos on this very YouTube channel on this very subject, and their names are there to be seen. This is page 2 of the first of the 3 grossly falsified character assassinations that were presented to the county court about myself and Mr. OPTIMA Stevenson. I make this statement knowing that the content of it will be used to prove the claimant's case at court. On the 29th of June 2017 at 1 PM, I was covering reception when the defendant, who resides at such and such and such and such, came into the reception with a light on his mobile phone and was pointing it towards me. Before I could ask the defendant anything, he said quite loudly and aggressively to me, "Don't worry about my phone, I want to see a manager, an account manager, somebody in charge." I asked the defendant what it was concerning, to which he shouted at me very aggressively, "You lot are more concerned about taking fucking £56 increment from me than incidents that happen with black people. You lot are fucking racists." The defendant then said, "When a white Irish guy got stabbed where I live, you dealt with it." I then asked the defendant to take a seat while I asked a colleague for help. The defendant replied by saying, "I'm standing here, I'm not fucking moving." I walked across to my colleagues to ask them for advice. Whilst I was with them, the defendant shouted aggressively towards me, "You can fucking hurry up, I haven't got all day." I told the defendant that I was just checking the computer system when he replied, "Just hurry up, I have not got all fucking day." The defendant then started to shout and became very aggressive towards me, shouting that he wanted to see a manager. At this point, my colleague, Marsha Cook, team leader, came into reception to speak with the defendant. I confirmed that I felt threatened by the defendant, his behaviour and his actions towards me, and I was concerned for my safety. I would not be willing to deal with the defendant alone in the future due to his volatile behaviour. I respectfully ask this honourable court to take into account the evidence contained in this witness statement and request that it makes an order in the term sought. Now, what you're about to see next is a total deconstruction of that grossly falsified statement from that employee of West Mercia Homes Limited / OPTIMA Community Association. This organisation put an attachment of earnings on my paycheck for £56. I know it's only £56, but I proved to the bureaucrats that work at this organisation that I don't owe that £56, so they've gone behind my back and done that. So I need to speak to the manager about that, as well as several other issues that have happened. It's to do with several other racial issues that have happened where I live since 2011 that haven't been dealt with, because for some reason this organisation seems to think that the £56 that you guys say that I owe them is more important than an Anglo-Irish 67-year-old white man stabbing black people in the area with impunity and getting away with it. So I need to speak to somebody as soon as possible. I'm not happy at all.
Okay, take a seat.
I'll stand.
Okay.
Okay then, just a quick recap of this grossly falsified character assassination that was presented to the county court in June 2017, which I successfully managed to overturn on the 30th of, I think it was October 2017. Let's just look at that main paragraph correlating to the video that you just saw. I asked the defendant to what it was concerning, to which he shouted at me very aggressively, "You lot are more concerned about taking fucking £56 increment from me than incidents that happen with black people. You lot are fucking racists." The defendant then said, "When a white Irish guy got stabbed where I live, you lot dealt with it." I then asked the defendant to take a seat while I asked my colleague for help. The defendant replied by saying, "I'm standing here, I'm not fucking moving." So let's look at that paragraph there quickly. You lot are more concerned about taking fucking £56 increment from me than incidents that happen with black people. That's not what I said. That is not what I said, as you can clearly hear in the tape. What I said was, this organisation seems to think that the £56 that they say that I owe them is more important than an Anglo-Irish 67-year-old white man stabbing black people in the area with impunity and getting away with it. So I need to speak to somebody as soon as possible. I'm not happy at all. She's actually changed that around and then said the defendant, which is me, then said, "When a white Irish guy got stabbed where I live, you dealt with it." So she's made the white Irish guy that's been stabbing black people in the area, which includes a 16-year-old black kid that got stabbed in his head on the bus, she's made this white Irish guy that's been doing all the stabbing as some sort of stabbing victim himself. She's made him look, there he is in black and white, she's made him look like a stabbing victim himself. I then asked the defendant to take a seat while I asked my colleague for help. The defendant then replied by saying, "I'm standing here, I'm not fucking moving." Well, as you clearly heard there on the video, that's not what I said. She's asked me to take a seat and she said, I'll stand. I got a big tongue tied because I'm not looking for no hospitality of West Mercia Homes /OPTIMA Community Association. She's asked me to take a seat and I said, "I'll stand." And she's changed that and said, the defendant replied by saying, "I'm standing here, I'm not fucking moving." And there's the final paragraph that I can't be bothered to summon the strength to read. But it's there in black and white, and none of what this person, this employee of West Mercia Homes, has said correlates or is attributed to the video what I just played to the camera. In its entirety, make no mistake, do not be confused. They just don't add up at all.